This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, so hi, good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
I hope you get my screen and you can see me. Okay, so everybody, I am Meenakshi Bharwani Jotwani. I myself am a chartered accountant and a company secretary and an information systems auditor. And I recently finished my program from OBU. I'm a mentor of Oxford Brookes University, which so you must be knowing that I believe there are few students who are registered for ACCM, and there are other few who are planning to register. So those who are registered, aware that completing your second level university. For that, you need a mentor. So I'm a mentor of Oxford Brookes University. Throughout my journey as a student, I never felt that studies are so much burdensome, like the way they are generally portrayed. Ma'am, I believe which mode of language is comfortable with everybody? English is fine with everybody, or you want the Hindi?
English is fine, ma'am. English is fine.
Okay, I believe I'm audible enough to everybody, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. You're audible.
Okay, so yeah, okay. So today we'll be just discussing a few things about how to make your journey as a professional student interesting. See, there's no particular rule or there's no particular set standard of studying, right? I've seen those students who just struggle for hours and hours with their books, and at the same time, I've seen some students who spend 4 or 5, 6 effective hours of the study, and then they are sorted, right? So today we are going to understand something about mnemonic techniques. First, tell me how many of you have heard about mnemonic techniques? Anyone? Okay, you can put down the answers in comments. I can see quite a few students right here. So you can put down your answers in comments. So let's have an interactive session today. So mnemonic techniques are basically, I generally call them train your brain technique. I have been experimenting this with these techniques since I was in my 10th standard. So these techniques basically will help you memorize, retain, remember things for a longer period of time, and will help you understand your brain. The first thing is that when you're into professional degree, there's so many things you have to retain. There are so many issues you have to deal with. There are multiple subjects with. So you have to make sure that you don't get confused with different languages, different subjects. Every subject is talking about some different aspect. So how do we train our brain? And moreover, if you might know, I maybe experienced it, when you're sitting in a classroom, you well aware of the subject and the topic, you're comfortable with the topic, but most of you must be experiencing this, that as soon as you get out of the classroom and you try to do same assignment at home, you find it very difficult. You find it very difficult to solve it all. And then you must be wondering, kya hua? I mean, when I was doing this assignment in class, I could get every bit of it. Now why I'm getting confused? Because everything was in your subconscious mind. Now what are we going to do? We're going to try and transfer all this memory, all these things, to your conscious mind, right? And how do we do this, right? So mnemonic techniques will help you understand this. The first thing, mnemonic techniques are train your brain techniques. Okay, these techniques just tell you one important aspect, and we all tend to forget it. Just make it very interesting. Make your studies very interesting. So since our childhood, we have been trained to believe that the studies are very boring, and we tend to retain and remember them like that. So there is a love hate kind of a relationship we develop with books. We want to go in for studies because we know that our future lies in there, but technically we don't like to do that because we kind of develop that boredom. So okay, there might be many things you might love to do, maybe painting, dancing, singing. We call them hobbies, but you might have never heard any student saying my hobby is studying, right? Because it's never interesting. Okay, if you're painting, if you like painting, suppose you spend 5-6 hours painting, would you realize that you know how much time I've spent? No, you would not, right? Because you like it, because it's interesting for you. What if the same thing happens to studies? What if your studies become that much interesting, right? In that scenario, you're gonna love your studies too, right? So let's try to make it a little bit interesting today, but I want this session to be really interactive session. I know that so many of you and everybody putting on the mic will mean that the conference and the entire webinar will get disturbed. So what we can do is to interact, we can put down in comments all your answers. I'll be reading, my comment box is open right here, so I can go through your comments. So I would appreciate if you can participate and put down the things in the comments. Okay, so let's just start off with the first mnemonic technique. I have a list of 10 words on my screen. Now all you have to do is you have to try memorize it. Okay, no cheating, no screenshots, don't write anything. We're just trying to learn a new concept, so let's just try to memorize it. Okay, so I'll just read it out for you. It's mirror, it's laptop bag, football, alarm clock, toaster, helmet, iron, cycle, building, umbrella, etc. Okay, done. Okay, let's go back. So basically, what the list which I gave you is the list of unrelated stuff. So those 10 items which I just gave you the list of are unrelated. Now, there is a slight problem with our brain. As I said, you need to understand your brain to basically master it, right? So there's a slight problem that we cannot retain unrelated things. It's a part of human memory that human beings like to relate things. We need to relate things, right? So now these were unrelated items. It's going to be very difficult to recall and remember all the 10 items. Okay, now who can tell me all the 10 items in the comment box? Anyone can tell me or give me the list of all the 10 items. I'm waiting. Whatever you can remember. You have a comment box in the right there in where your mute button is. You can put your comments there. Can anyone remember the 10 items? I hope I'm audible to everybody. Okay, I'm waiting for the list of 10 items. You can put down even 2-3 items if you remember 2-3 of them. Is it that difficult? Okay, so maybe remembering and retaining those many items. Okay, very good. We have an answer. We have an answer from Mugleshwaran. Laptop bag, football iron. Very good, Mugleshwaran. And Lavanya, mirror, laptop bag, toaster. Very good. Prasant, mirror and laptop bag. Okay, see, most of you could recall back. Very good, Punita, Yashana. I hope I'm just pronouncing the names right. Smriti, very good. Okay, Sudarshan, Samyukta, very good. Chandni, okay, we have so many answers. But see, any of you can try recalling back all the 10 items. Oh, we have a list of like 6-7 items. Wow, 3, 4, 5, 7. Ram Kumar, 7 items he could recall back. Very good. But then none of us can recall back 10 items, and it's like even if you recall back 7 to 8 items, you've got a very good memory, but then still it is in your subconscious mind. What if I tell you to recall back these 10 items and tell me after 2 hours or after 3 hours or after 3 days or 7 days? You probably would remember only 1 or 2 items. Okay, and then I'll tell you one interesting part about it. Every one of you would remember only those items which you might have visualized. So we have a visual memory, and visual memory plays a very big role. So you might have visualized some items, right? And those items you might remember after 3 months. Some of you would not remember any item, any single item, because it's right now in your subconscious memory. And that's what happens with the books and everything. Because whenever you go through any study material, it's you have to transfer it to your conscious mind. Now, I told you one thing, that human memory can relate things. And if you start relating things, you remember it for a longer period of time. So let's try to relate this. So here was my slide, which was very boring. So as I said, this is how we imagine the studies as very boring. Let's make it a little interesting. So, okay, I made it a little interesting by putting it down in terms of pictures. So maybe now after having a look at the pictures for like 5 minutes, you might remember more items. 7 to 8, 8 to 9 items. Those who could recall back 5 items, they would now remember, 6, 7 items. But no, we want to recall back all the items, and I want to retain all the 10 items. Like, even if you ask me after 6 years or 7 years, I should remember this. Okay, so we don't have to just mug up things, because if you mug up, if you don't revise it. Let's take a shot. Related provisions. Those who are doing CA, you might be going through law, taxation, audit. So there are audit standards, there are sections we need to remember. But then again, they're unrelated. So we generally get confused between, maybe IS 12, IS 21. These generally mingle up, right? And then when we talk about ACCS students, again, you need to remember the IFRS and the IAS. So how do we basically relate that? Okay, let's go through the story mnemonics. So I am just giving some background sound. I hope you go through the story and try to memorize the item. Okay, so I'll just switch on to one item after the other, and I'll just be giving some background music of the story. Okay, so oh my god, my alarm clock, oh god, again, I just switched off my alarm clock. I went to sleep again. I'm going to be late for the office today. So my first item is alarm clock. Oh, I quickly just iron my clothes because I have to rush for the office. I'm getting late. Okay, after ironing my clothes, I just had put some bread in the toaster because that's the quickest breakfast I can make. Nothing can be done before that. Okay, I'm scared that I'll burn my toast. I just had a look at myself in the mirror. Okay, I'm perfectly ready for my office. Now I have to leave for the office. But when I was about to leave for the office, I just remembered that, oh my God, I forgot my laptop bag. I rushed back again, got my laptop bag, and then I realized that's raining outside. Why not just carry my umbrella along? So I just took my umbrella along, right? And yeah, of course, because the traffic police is very strict nowadays, I had to take my helmet also. So I took my helmet also because I don't want to be punished, or I don't want to pay any fine. Now I left outside for my office. I just came outside my building, and I looked at my very impressive vehicle, which is all set to go to the office. And I took my cycle and I went to my office. I left for my office. But on my way, there was some naughty boys playing football, and they splashed a dirty football on me, and I'm dirty and I have to go back again. I'll be late again for the office today. So that's the story. So we just named it as Story of Mr. Late Latif, and this is what happened to him. So what he did, I'll just quickly recall back. First, he got up, he realized that his alarm clock went off, and he ironed his clothes quickly. He made a breakfast for him, and he looked at himself in the mirror. He looks fine, and then he took his laptop bag, umbrella, and realized that he needs a helmet. And funny thing is that he needs a helmet to drive a bicycle. But whatever, he left for his office. He was outside his building, took his bicycle, and the football just, the football splashed on him. Then he realized that he's late for the office again. Okay, so I think the story basically creates a relationship between the 10 items, and this can be anything. I created my story, you can create your story, right? So there are certain standards, like generally we talk about NCA, non-current assets. So there are international accounting standards related to this: IAS 16, IAS 20, IAS 23, IAS 40. Now you have to remember all of them. IAS 36. So when I'm talking about NCA, there's one question I have to remember all of them. So maybe I can just relate it in form of a story, and I can recall it back, right? Create your own story. So the first funda of making your professional journey very interesting is that you just try to create your own stories and try to make it funny. The funnier it is, the longer you remember it, right? I normally hear people saying that I'm doing CA, I'm doing CS, and I spend like 16 hours in a day studying, 20 hours a day studying. Trust me, I personally believe that the mental capacity of every person is maximum 6 to 8 hours. That's the efficient time you can put in. After that, your brain goes dead, and then there's no sense of sitting in front of the book and pleasing yourself that I'm studying, right? But at 6 to 8 hours should be productive enough. You should be into the book completely, right? And that should be interesting enough to help you retain things for a long period of time, right? Okay, so we had enough discussion. Can someone now tell me the 10 list of 10 items? Can you hear me? I'm this Vishwa who types saying that can't hear the audio. Are you able to hear me, Vishwa? Okay. Am I audible, Vishwa? Okay. Can the people who heard the story can give me the list of 10 items? I think there's some connection problem today, but yeah, oh, we got all the 10 items. Karthik, very good. Alarm, iron, mirror, toaster, bag, umbrella, helmet, building, cycle, football. Look at the answer given by Karthik in the chat box. He has reproduced all the items in the same order of the story, and that's the basic idea. Like, you should be able to write down those items in the same order, right? Perfect. Very good, Karthik. Very good. So there's someone else. Oh, there's so many now. Okay, almost everybody is. Wow, that's great. Prasant, Shivanand, Yashana, very good. So everybody is now able to. So that's the live example of mnemonic techniques we had. Like how much difference mnemonic techniques can make. And again, I'm telling you, there's no need of making your studies boring. There's no need of going by the traditional method of studies that you just need to get hold of the book and cram and mug up things for hours and hours. Make it interesting. Most of the time as a student, I used to smile while reading my books, and my sisters would wonder, what are you doing? And I would I'm imagining funny characters so that I remember it for a longer period of time. So it's your trick. And as I said, I never gave more than 6 to 8 hours a day as a student. I still bagged all India ranks. I got second rank in my CS. And there's no need to give so many hours. It's just that efficient studies, smart work is much more important than hard work, right? Okay, we'll proceed on to so it works. So the technique works for all of you right here. So many are still giving the answers with all the 10 items. That's great. Smriti, Mohammed, Sudarshana, Nikala, very good. Amazing. Sanadhya, Prabha. Wow, that's great. Great. Amazing. Amazing, everybody. So let's try to go in for the next mnemonic. So this was story mnemonic. We can maybe there's so many mnemonics, we cannot cover all the mnemonics today. Maybe we can plan some sessions in future later on, but yeah, today we are able to cover few mnemonics. Like, this is story mnemonic, and I'll cover another mnemonic which is associative mnemonic. Now, what is associative mnemonic? As I said, that linking things and linking items will help you remember things for a longer period of time. So maybe if there is a case study you want to remember, right? So maybe I want to remember a case study of husband wife, Balfour versus Balfour. There's a very famous case study in mercantile law, right? So I want to remember Balfour versus Balfour. So what I did, I wanted my student to remember that. So what I did was I made a slide, and in that slide I made a cartoon. I added a cartoon of funny, aged husband and wife, and they are just angry with each other because the wife sued the husband. So that was the case. So they're angry with each other, and this is what was portrayed in the cartoon. So everybody could connect or associate those cartoons with the two names, Balfour versus Balfour, Mr. Balfour versus Mrs. Balfour, right? So if you can associate things to something, it will be easier for you to retain. Okay, so I will be taking an example, and I'm sure that these two are my friends, and they must be watching us live on Facebook, and they're going to kill me for this, but okay. So there are two people right here on your screen, and you want to remember the name. Now, this is a problem with most of us, not related to studies. Also, this is a common problem with all of us. I mean, I had faced this problem many times, where someone would actually come up and meet me in a wedding or somewhere, or an event, and they'll be like, we'll be talking for half an hour or so, and some of my friends would be asking me, who was she? Who is she? Who's he? And I would be like, I don't know. I don't remember the name. So that's one problem we all have. So these are name mnemonics or associative mnemonics, where you can associate things and remember the names. So here in first picture, I want you to concentrate on the first picture we have here. So the first picture looks like, a very, very innocent guy, must be born for, I'm just associating him. So must be born for some patriotic purpose, looks like. So I think his name must be Bharat. So Bharat, right? So this is how his name is actually Bharat sir. So he's a chartered accountant, and he's doing very well in his profession. So Bharat sir. So maybe this is gonna help me remember. Although he has nothing to do with military, army, navy, but I'm just saying that maybe looks like he's very innocent and must be very patriotic. So I just associate his name with my country, Bharat and Bharat. Okay. And then the second picture. So the second picture is again of one of a chartered accountant fraternity chartered. So Nishant. So if you see to this picture, focus on this picture, the second one, looks like, you know, he's a very angry kind of a man, might be a very, although he is a very nice person, so might be very kind of an angry or aggressive kind of a man. So in Hindi, when we talk about someone being very quiet, Shant, right? But I don't think he's a quiet person, Nishant. So I'm associating his name with a word, okay? And the first one being Bharat and the second one being Nishant. So what I did was I spent like good 2 minutes explaining you this, or maybe making up something, cooking up something that maybe this is related to this, this is related to this. You might find it funny initially, you might find it wastage of time, that we're wasting our 2 minutes, 3 minutes just analyzing these pictures. Just, you know, ma'am, you could have said Bharat and Nishant and done, but you won't remember that. But we'll try recalling back their names at the end of the session, not now. So let's see how much it goes into the permanent. Okay, so we'll come on to the next. So this is associative mnemonic, music mnemonic. So now I need your participation here, everybody. So there are many students who are fond of, you know, playing some background music or light songs when they're studying. How many of you do this? How many of you basically play some background music? Anyone? Anyone has a habit of doing this? No. Oh, okay, okay. The student actually thought that, okay, there are so many. Okay, I think there's some internet issue. Okay, Durga, Vikas, Shrish, Lavanya, wow, Samriddhi, Sudarshan, Deepak, very good. So you guys are Yuva, Chandni, amazing. Safran, very good. So you guys are already using, yeah, Sasika, very good. Mohammed, you guys are already using music mnemonics. So in that sense, like if I tell you about, if we talk about this music mnemonics, so music helps you ease down. See, the first problem is at times we all might have faced this issue that, you know, whenever we go to give and appear for an exam and there's a question and we completely go blank, right? We're not able to recall back the answer at all. And then when we walk outside the exam hall, we can just recall back the answer and we say to ourselves, what went wrong? I mean, the answer was on my fingertips during the exam time. During those 3 hours, I completely forgot that answer. And when I'm back outside the exam hall, I can now recall back. Okay, so the first important reason behind this is stress. When your brain is already processing a lot of information, it won't be able to concentrate on some new information. Like your brain is processing so many things. Pass honge ki nahi honge? Am I supposed to clear this exam or not? How many attempts I can give? What if I don't clear this backup option? So I think so many things during the exam time, which is completely wrong, right? So you have to train your brain to be focused. Now, the first thing which eases your mind is music, right? Of course, music should be very positive, not depressing, and music should be slow, not rock music. Otherwise, you'll end up dancing rather than studying, right? So music plays a very, very important role. If you see that in your nursery, in your you know, play group, how teachers used to, you know, make you memorize things, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. So they could have said A, B, C, D, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, right? Something like that. But no, they sing it for you. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Why do you do this? Because we have a musical memory. Now, if I tell you right now, maybe you've gone to watch a movie, okay? If I tell you right now to tell me all the dialogues, the entire script, you might find it a little difficult. You might remember only the key dialogues, right? So if I talk about Sholay, you might remember Ab Tera Kya Hoga Kalia, or maybe the key dialogues, but not all the dialogues, right? But if I tell you to recall back all the songs, you might end up giving me even the stanza and the paragraphs of the song. Why? Because music helps you retain things for a longer period of time. So if I give you the entire script in form of music, you might be able to remember it. So there are so many students who try to retain and remember all the sections, all the big provisions in form of a song. And that's funny, but if it works, it's not stupid, right? So make it funny, make it interesting. And the student who play background music while doing their numericals, I believe you must be playing the background music while doing the practical questions. You have another advantage. Your sitting hours will increase because music will ease down your mind. So whenever you're doing some practical questions, if there are 10 things going at the back of your mind, what happens is that once you're done with 1 hour of practical questions, the second hour your brain will be really tired because you are not only processing those questions, but you are processing multiple information, right? But then you're playing some music in the background. Now your brain eases out. So this helps you, ease out all the stress. So now if you've done 2 hours of practical questions, it's just 2 hours of practical questions, nothing else. So your brain is not tired. You can go in for 3 hours now, you can go in for 4 hours now. What if that is my favorite music playlist? So then if I'm planning to, just leave my numericals, okay, I'm done for the day. It's like 10 numericals, I'm done, I'll just leave it. Then there is another favorite song playing in the background. So okay, let me just sit through one more song, and this way you can increase your sitting. So music really helps, right? And see, one important thing is that you're using your brain when you're studying, or you're retaining so much information, right? It's like when you go to the gym, your body gets tired and your body needs some rest. Similarly, when you're studying too much, your brain gets tired and your brain needs some rest, right? So we need to make sure that your brain eases out and it's not too much stress. Then only you'll be able to have sharper memory, right? So that's all about the new music mnemonic. Ma'am, let me know if you're running short of time. I think we have enough time right now. Okay. Okay, we'll go in for another mnemonics. Now, this is a mnemonic which even ACCA books use. So, the students who are going through this particular degree, you might have heard about various abbreviations like PEARLS. The first chapter itself tells you about PEARLS, that there are 5 major framework which can be regulated: liability, share capital, right? So ACCA books themselves are using mnemonics, and we might have also used it at times. These are abbreviation mnemonics or expression mnemonics, wherein we just abbreviate the entire information. So suppose you have to remember advantages and disadvantages, and there are 10 points of advantages, okay, and you are not able to remember all of them. So maybe give a letter, assign a letter to all of them. So maybe we are talking about advantages of work at home, right? It's never going to be asked in the question in the exam. It's a very simple question, but advantages of work at home. So you plan out like maybe 3 advantages. That first, you don't have to travel, you save the travel time. So I assign the letter T to it. Okay, so you don't have to travel, you're saving the traveling time. Second advantage of work at home, maybe because you are just working from home, so maybe you can dedicate more hours, so because the travel time is being saved, so hours, H, okay. And then it is less expensive working from home because you are not traveling, so there's no fuel and everything expenses. So I give this 3 advantages a simple abbreviation, which is the THE, okay, travel, okay. And H was for are you all able to hear me? So I just gave it simple abbreviation, okay. And E is for less expensive, okay. So herein, similarly you can give, yeah, right, similarly you can give word mnemonics to maybe the planets, right? So we are here giving an abbreviation to all the planets. So this was a task for most of us to remember all the planets, right? So Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, Pluto. In this order, recalling back all the planets was a very big and difficult task for us. But then see, if I just created some simple abbreviation for this. Mercury, I took M from Mercury, V from Venus, E from Earth, M from Mars, and so on, right? And I created a sentence. My very eager mother just stepped on uncle's new pen. You can create any other abbreviation, whatever you want. So I'm not required to remember now some unrelated information. I'm just required to remember a sentence. My very eager mother just stepped on uncle's new pen. right? And then I can recall back my, M, Mercury, very, V, Venus, Earth, for E, eager mother, Mars, and so on. So this is one way of remembering things, which is expression mnemonics and word mnemonics. Okay. So model mnemonics, okay, I'll just give you one simple example here. This is what you do in exam, and this is what the teachers or the checkers, markers have to go through. Suppose I have to write one answer of Sale of Goods Act. So this is Sale of Goods Act, one provision, transfer of ownership. Okay, so transfer of ownership, this is what I wrote in my exam, and this is how I prepare my notes. How interesting is this? Is this very interesting? You think it's like really worth it? Okay, let me just put it in some legible form or maybe some more understandable form. This one, how do you think it is? Better than before? Much better than before. It is like at least a little bit eye pleasing and I can remember it. So we provide the students with these kinds of notes. How do you think this is? Great, easy to remember. It's showing the connection. Okay, there is a sale now you are keen or interested to even read through it. Now before that I was not even interested to read this, right? And this is a common thing with all of us. It's not that everybody loves reading books and everyone is like fond of studies. Even the scholars, even the people, the exam or the rankers, they also try to make studies interesting. It's not always interesting as it is. You have to be. I'm not really interested in reading this, like not taking much time. Goods on sale or return basis. So wherein the buyer accepts, buyer adopts the transaction, and wherein the buyer does not return within the fixed period of time, what is going to happen? So it's easier for me to comprehend and understand. This is how your notes for the exam should look like. Now, what most of the students generally do is that they would tell us that, ma'am, we are preparing some notes for the exams. Okay, show us the notes. These are the notes. And then our simple question to the students is, are you keen enough to go through these notes again, all over again? I mean, this looks so boring. Just make it a little interesting. And it's going to be fun for you also drawing all these diagrams. So I remember as a student, my entire books would be full of some post-its or extra sheet of papers with only these diagrams. So that before my exam, just before my exam, I'm not required to go through entire theory. And a picturesque memory we have, so we can just remember all the pictures. So most of the students, it's funny part though, as an invigilator, I checked few copies and I realized that there are a few funny students, especially when they are not into too much into serious about the professional degree. They would end up writing the page number of the book also, that this answer is on that page number, right? But how come they could recall back the page number but they could not recall back what was in it? Because we have a picturesque memory, so we can just remember the pictures, remember the things, but we cannot remember what is going on in the lines. So convert all your study material into pictures. That's going to be interesting enough for all of you then. Okay, so spelling mnemonics. Most of us make a lot of mistakes when it comes to spellings and all. Sometimes we go wrong with the spellings. Maybe principal is one spelling most of us get confused in. Where to use principal, PAL and PLE, right? So herein there is a simple way of remembering it or retaining it. Principal, which is PAL, pal means friends, right? So principal is my pal in school. So that's how I remember the spelling of principal. So PAL is the spelling of that principal who's the school principal. And LE, principal, this resembles the word rule, right? So principle, these are the principles I need to follow. So PLE is a spelling which can be correlated to rules. So this way it helps you remember the spellings also. On the professional level, most of the degrees do not really give weightage to your English and grammatical part. The more they are concerned about is your concepts. So you should be conceptually sound. That is more important. Okay, so one important thing which I wanted to discuss with you also, ma'am told me that there are few students who've already opted for some subjects and few who are planning to opt for ACCA, and they need more clarification, more knowledge about ACCA. So maybe we can have a detailed session later on about ACCA. I just want to, before you choose any career option, I just want to ask you one simple thing. Why do you choose a career option? Is it just because you have your friends doing something, or is it because you've heard about it, it's popular, or any other reason? Anyone? So some of you might have chosen some field already, and some of you are about to choose some field. Can you tell me a reason why you're choosing that? You're planning to do CA, CS, ACCA, whatever you're planning to do. Why? Is it because your friends are there? Is it because your family members say, no, I want you to be a chartered accountant? Or maybe you think that in your city there's no other option. Very good, Sudarsha. My passion and studies. Very good. That's amazing. See, education is one tool which can change your situation, which can change the level where you are overnight. And educated, and so people doing wonders without that is sheer combination of their inbuilt skills or maybe very, very, very good luck. But I personally option, right? So even if you want to experiment in future, you want to start off with any business and you don't know how it's gonna end up, but at least you have an education or professional degree in hand. You're really sure that okay, even if nothing happens, I know I can easily get a job. So you have a backup option. Bhooke nahi marenge. That's not going to happen with a professional, right? So okay, we have many more answers here. Vandana says, because I wanted to equip myself and shine in future. Very good, Vandana. I think that's a very right logic, because if you want to change the situation, if you want to be a better person inside out, education is a tool. Education is something which is going to help you in that, right? And Janani says willing to get a job abroad. Very good. So is that the reason you picked up ACCA? Well, through ACCA you can get very good jobs in your city itself, in India itself. It's not that you get jobs abroad only, but yes, that's a plus point, that if you want to relocate outside India, you can easily relocate with the international degree. Interested in job? Okay, very good, Devanand. One realization is that to go in for a job, you need to have some skills, and professional degree is the biggest skill you can have. Madurai says good future. Very good. So of course these are one reasons to, these are some reasons to it. But yeah, one thing we have to remember is that at the end of the day, you need to realize it's my decision. So the day you feel that okay, I have opted for CA, CS, ACCA, CMA, whatever you've opted for, because that's my reason, that's my decision. So if at the end of the day you realize it's my decision, I haven't taken this decision because my friend said so or my parents are saying so, I have taken this decision because I want to do it, you'll stand by it, right? Otherwise you'll end up blaming everyone around. So just make sure that when you choose anything, if you feel that okay, I'm comfortable with this particular degree and I think I should be going ahead with this particular degree, then perfect, that's what you should be doing, right? Career is one thing. You should not be listening to everybody. Take suggestions from everyone, but at the end of the day, take the decision which you feel is good for yourself, because nobody can judge your decision better than, right? Okay, so the question and you, okay, 5 under, there are some fund, generally say fantastic 5 fundas for any professional to crack any professional degree, right? First is time management. So you need to have very, very good, okay, I have 3 months to go for exam. How am I going to complete finish? Okay, finish my syllabus. What all I have to do? I have to finish my syllabus, give some mock exams. See, mock exams are very important before you appear for the main exam. Your main exam should not be like a trial match, right? It should be like the final match, like the World Cup. The team has to practice and play many matches before the final World Cup. So you have to make sure that there are lots of mock test papers you give, there are lots of test papers you have, right? Second is conceptual understanding. So the biggest mistake we all do while going in for professional education is that we tend to cram, mug up things, and few of them even get successful. They tend to clear the degree by mugging up things, but those students will then take 8 attempts, 10 attempts, maybe 20 attempts in keeping that particular degree. So it's very important for all of us to understand here is that once you understand the concept, it's going to be easy for you. I frequently say one thing to my students is that once I know the reason why, I'll remember it till I die. Right? So if I know why this is happening, there's a formula which your tutor has taught you in the class. Ask your tutor that you please tell me the derivation of the formula, how this is derived, what logic behind this formula, why this formula is like that. Once you become so much, inquisitive, it's gonna be. So we generally see now try to observe. Easier for you to study the bright students in your class. There are some students who achieve great grades, and if you sit in the class with them, you tend to get a little frustrated because they'll keep asking questions every now and then. A majority of questions like, why sir like this, why not, people will have them like this, what if this happens, because they're being inquisitive. And once you are like you understand this, if I just mug it up, if I tell you to sit in a car and drive to the process done, what is brake, what is clutch, how you have to use saying how it is them, right? And then if I ask you about this even after 6 years, you remember it, right? So try to get into the conceptual development. As I said, it's very important to understand a lot of information in very short span of time. It's just to plan properly, execute properly. So theory papers. So most of the students have this issue. 3 महीने बाद exam, cannot retain all the theory right now. Now, so what do I do with my theory papers? Most of them, they start off with the theory papers at the last moment. And that is why in most of the exams, the students fail in the professional exam, be it CA, CS, they fail in the theory papers only. So how do I prepare for that? Because anyways, if I start studying in advance, I'm not going to remember anything. So don't study anything in advance. 3 months in advance, just do one thing. For all the theory papers, make some summary notes. Just sit with the books for like an hour or so and make a summary note. One I showed you before. Maybe something like this, the chart notes. Like right? Convert your entire material into chart notes, but make sure you make it. Don't copy it from the other students and don't ask other students for help. Make it yourself. And a month before the exam or 2 months before the exam, maybe through those notes, because you have prepared them, because you have invested time in understanding them, you'll be, if you go, able to recall them out, right? Okay, so and then there is another thing, paper writing skills. This is very important. Most of you are not able to understand how to attempt the paper. So there many students lose out their marks during the span of those 3 hours. They do put in their entire efforts throughout the period of time before the exam, but those 3 hours play a very, very crucial role. If you do not plan these 3 hours well, if you do not write your papers well, then you will end up losing marks. So there is some, I'll just quickly do it. I don't want it to be too long. Let's just try to understand one thing. 10 to 12 hours a day is not required. Even 8 to 5 hours, 5 to 8 hours a day is 100% into the book. My study days, right? Saturday and Sunday, I would not study anything extra. I would just sit and revise whatever I have done from Monday to Friday. Just revise. I would say these 2 days are my rest days, because the percentage of this would be the time and more on my advantage information was it back to my conscious mind. This is something which is highly need to revise things, right? That do them. That's basically, I'll remember first question. Ask your teachers as many questions as you can. You believe me, once you start asking lots of questions in the class, you start enjoying your class. right? Smart work is very important. Understand the stress area. So there's an 80-20 management concept. So what happens is that 80% of your syllabus has just 20% weightage, and 20% of your syllabus has 80% weightage. So when you start studying, you should first analyze the previous year papers. You should try to understand that what was being assessed in past year, and in the last years, I have these papers had stress point of these particular topics. So I should start off with these topics first, because this is our habit that once we start studying, we tend to go into the detail of that subject. फिर जैसे जैसे exam का time pass आता जाता है, we would just rush through things, right? So it's better that you start off with important topics and at the end go in for the least important topics. Okay. Diagrammatic presentation, good command over the language, systematic answers, one very good tool you have to clear the exams. Okay. One suggestion I would give for the OMR pattern papers. So there are many students who are appearing for ACC exams, and the knowledge level and skill level have OMR pattern papers. Like you have 4 options and you have to mark one right answer. So one very good trick to attempt these papers is go in for negative approach, right? What happens in negative approach is, rather than looking in for the answer, I look out for the wrong answers. Okay, so there are 4 options with me. I'll say, okay, A to nahi ho sakta, A is not the answer, B is not the answer, C is not the answer. So obviously the leftover is the answer. So generally by using this negative approach technique, you tend to cut down, out of 4 options, you tend to cut down 2 options. The 2 though you'll be sure that, you know, these are not the answers, right? With the remaining 2 options, go through the entire question again. Okay, it's simple, as simple as that you know, maybe there is a girl who's getting ready for the party, and she takes like 1 hour and she's still not able to decide what outfit she's going to wear. But then there is a boy who's also getting ready for this party, and I'm not giving a boy girl example, it's just a fun example, so don't take it otherwise. So there's a boy who's also trying to decide how to get ready for the party, was about to get ready for the party. It takes just 5 minutes, because the girl opens her wardrobe and there are like 10,000 dresses lying there, and she's confused what to wear. So she's going to take a lot of time deciding. But the boy has only one shirt which is washed and ironed. He has no other shirt which is clean. So he's not going to take even a minute to decide, because he has no other option left. So this is what we are doing. We're just reducing the number of clothes in the closet, right? So we're reducing the number of options. So herein there's one question. The tallest tower in the world is after which ruler's name? So instead of using the positive, so most of you might be knowing the answer. If you're not knowing the answer, let's try to, even if I'm clueless about the answer, I don't know the answer, but then I can still crack it if I use the negative technique. Sachin Tendulkar is not a ruler. So this is not a part of my answer. For sure, this is not an answer. Indira Gandhi was also not a ruler. So this is not my answer. Now we are left with 2 options. Queen Elizabeth, yes, maybe we can count her in the ruler, and Sheikh Khalifa. Okay, so I'm left with 2 options, C or D. What do you think it must be? The tallest tower in the world is after the name of which ruler? So now you have to make a guesswork. Very good, very good. Madurai and okay, everybody, Sudarshan, Yuva, Prashant, very good. Danush, Hema, very good. So D option, why we got the D option? Maybe initially when we read through the question, we were clueless. Okay, we had no idea what the answer is going to be. But then once we started shortlisting the option, we realized it's going to be Queen Elizabeth or Sheikh Khalifa. Queen Elizabeth, difficult. I don't think so. There must be some tallest tower in Britain. So to name the tower after her name must be in that location somewhere. So then we recall back, okay, maybe I heard of some tallest tower being made in UAE, Dubai. So must be Sheikh Khalifa then, right? So the guesswork becomes easier. Okay, we have an answer also, Burj Khalifa, Kanishkar. Very good. Paper writing skills for theory questions, it's very important that your examiner also finds your answer sheet very interesting. Because if you find studies boring and you tend to ignore certain parts in the books, the same thing happens with your examiner also, because he is also after all a human being, right? If your answer sheet is very boring, no point-wise answer, no highlighting done, then it is quite possible that your examiner or marker might ignore certain critical part of the answers, because you just wrote them all in form of a novel, right? So make sure that the answers you want to score marks, right? So make sure that the answer is point-wise, answer is clearly stated. Okay, And there's one particular technique which I've used as a student during all my exams. Drink water. And water is really, really good for your memory. Water eases down your mind, improves your memory power. I remember as a student when I would prepare for my exams, I used to have this big bottle of water with me. And I would be every time taking a sip or two of water. There are many students who have the habit of eating a lot of food during the exams, because we all tend to react in different manner when we are under stress. So how many of you have a habit of eating a lot of food during the exams? Let us just see how many of you are fond of eating. Or there are some physical changes which we all go through after a stressful exam. Some people just put on like 10-20 kgs of weight, and some people tend to lose a lot of weight. How many of you eat a lot of food during the exam? Okay. So if you have a habit of eating a lot of food during the exam, you should try to replace it with the water habit, because water tends to keep you calm, relaxes your mind. And at the same time, if you're eating too much food, you tend to feel sleepy after eating too much food, because your brain is concentrating on the digestion process, and again your mindset is getting diverted from there. So it's important that you try to avoid very spicy food or too much food during the exam time, very heavy food. Take light and healthy food, and try to drink, replace your eating habit with a drinking, water drinking habit, right? So that's going to help you. And one important thing, as I said, revise as much as you can. That's the most important crux of it. Okay. And yes, one important thing, just de-stress yourself, de-stress your mind, because the people who feel that exams are very pressurizing, they tend to repeat the exams more frequently. You might have seen in your class or in your batch, some students getting very emotional about the papers. They would cry, and they'll feel that it's a big task, and if they don't clear the paper, it's going to be a big deal for them, and they, at the end of it, they are not able to clear the paper, because a stressful mind cannot remember and retain things. So it's very important to de-stress yourself, right? Maybe if you're studying for long hours, 6 to 8 hours just before the exams, you tend to get into that stress, and it's unavoidable, because there'll be some reaction your brain is also going to give, because usually you're not dedicating 8 to 10 hours studying, and all of a sudden one day you start off studying 8 to 10 hours for a month to go or 2 months to go. So the brain is also going to react to it, right? So in that case, you can just go for a walk. 15-20 minutes walk a day will keep you out of that stress, right? Instead of taking TV breaks, instead of taking that mobile breaks, go in for walk breaks. Maybe again put on some lively cheerful music and go in for a walk. It really de-stresses your mind. And once your brain is empty, so it's like you have a cabinet full of things. So once your brain is empty, then only you'll be able to store new information in it. But if there are already so many things going on in your brain, it's going to be very difficult to retain, remember, and store new information. So just relax down. Exams, professional exams, are not like your graduation or 11 12 papers that if you're sitting in them, you're bound to pass them, right? There might be some failures you might face, but then you need to be very strong, and you need to say to yourself that no, I'm stronger than this professional degree. It's like a competition between you and your professional degree, who's stronger, right? Either the degree will break you, or you will get the degree at the end of it, right? So just make sure that you're strong enough, stay strong, and give the exams, give your best shot. That's the only thing. Give your 100%. That's more than sufficient, right? And rest all, if you give your 100%, of course you will be able to crack them. So I think, yeah, let's try to go back to that mnemonic we were talking about. Let's see, after all this discussion, do you remember the names of those two tutors or not? Do you remember the name of those two tutors? Two chartered accountants, rather not tutors, chartered accountants. I showed you some pictures of, yeah. Wow, that's great. So we have the answers already, Bharat and Nishant. Wow. Oh, so see, after so much discussion, we had a session thereafter. Wow, everybody. Amazing. Amazing, amazing. Very good. So see, we had a session like 40 minutes thereafter, and you're able to recall back the names after 40 minutes also. And I'm sure these people watching me live on Facebook must be really happy because I made them popular down south also. Okay. So on serious notes, yeah, that's the relative mnemonics. So relate things to relate your study material to some funny things, as funny as you can make it, and make it interesting. You know, if you're studying a case law, just imagine a courtroom, imagine people fighting over that case, and maybe some funny people, funny characters. Why do you have to imagine some serious characters? Maybe imagine some funny comedians, maybe how Johnny Liver would come and react in that situation if he was in that court case, stuck in that court case. As I said, funnier it is, stupid it is, but it's intelligent as far as it works, right? So if it works well for you, great enough. There's one number mnemonic last technique we'll end up the session with. So I was supposed to give some ACC detail, but I think we're running short of time because I prepared the entire session for mnemonic techniques. So maybe, ma'am, we can have ACCA detailed session in some time, or maybe next week or something like that. Will that be fine, ma'am? Or if they're ready to wait, I'm okay with giving the briefing of ACCA. Okay, so here there are some numbers. It's going to be difficult to remember the chunk of numbers. So you see there are 10 digit, 20 digit numbers. You might be wondering that there are some people who are able to recall back the value of pi. You know, there was some person who created a world record by recalling back the value of pi up to 20, 30 decimal places. And we wonder how could he retain so many things. So he said that he fragmented that information into smaller data, right? So remembering this number might be difficult because our brain is not made to remember long big chunks of data, but we can remember small data. Like, so for example, I just break it into parts. So breaking it into parts, so there is 90 is leading the line, and there is 010101, and 99 is at the end, right? So this becomes 90, 010101, 99. Now probably you'll be able to remember it. Remembering it like this is not possible. So these are phone numbers, right? So if I have to remember some phone number, how do we remember phone numbers? Sometimes if somebody asks you what's the phone number of your dad or your mom or your friend, and then you tend to instead of saying 99299501866, we tend to stop at certain places. We tend to take a pause because this is how our brain has retained it. So if I have to remember this, I'll say 99299501866. So automatically my brain has processed this information in small lots. So 99, I've remembered 99 together, 299, and then 50, and then 186. So this is fragmentation. So fragmentation helps you recall back or remember or retain a big chunk of information. Instead of trying to retain a big data or big chunk of information, break it into small pieces, and then you'll be able to recall it back, and you'll be able to retain it for a longer period of time. By the way, this is also the counseling help desk number in case you have any queries for us. You know, you want to know more about mnemonic techniques, you can get in touch. I think your ma'am would be in a better situation to guide you. Ma'am, should we discuss about ACC, or I think we are done with this session? I think it's already 6. What should we do? Ma'am, are you there? Okay, I think ma'am is able to hear me or not able to hear me. I'm not sure. I hope you enjoyed this session. I would really love to see your comments. Was that session productive enough for you? Would you be using any of those mnemonic techniques? So by the time ma'am replies back to me, okay, very good. Thanks, Shrish. I'll just give you one last mnemonic technique. Harish, Lavanya, Kanishka, thank you. Thank you so much. Great, great. Thank you. I'll just give you one last mnemonic technique, which I used since my 10th standard, but this mnemonic technique takes a lot of time to develop. So you would not develop it overnight, but once you develop it, you're going to create wonders. So this is one mnemonic technique which I started using in my 10th standard. So there was some tutor who came down to our school, like similarly, I am taking a session in your institute. Similarly, there was a tutor who came down to our school, and he taught us about mnemonic techniques. And that was a time when I was like, 15 years old, and I got really fascinated by this. I mean, I was like, why I have to spend 10, 12 hours a day studying when I can do the same task in 4, 5 hours? So he gave a very nice mnemonic technique, which I used and I found it really useful. If you have to study some theory subject, right? So maybe you have the test of some theory paper, law, or maybe indirect taxation, the theory part, maybe some other subject, IT. So if you have to study some theory subject, plan it a day in advance. So instead of starting the studies directly, just do one thing, that tomorrow if you have to start studying law, one chapter of law, try to read the entire chapter before you go to sleep. Okay, just before you go to sleep. And the reason behind this is, scientific reason behind this is, our brain never sleeps. So technically you are sleeping, but your brain is still working. This is the reason why you have dreams. So this is the reason your brain is processing something or the other. So my brain would be processing something throughout those 8 hours. Why not put this 8 hours into some productive work? So you might have observed a lot many times that you end up playing a game on mobile phone, or end up with a chat on mobile phone, and you go to sleep and you have a dream related to that chat or maybe that game or something like that. So instead of using your brain in useless direction, let's use it positively. So what you can do is, before going to bed, just read through the entire chapter. Just read, okay, and just go off to sleep. That should be the last thing you should do. Get up next morning. The first thing you should do after getting up, of course, after the regular course, you can start studying that chapter. If it would have taken 3 hours for you to memorize that chapter, it would now take only 1 hour for you to memorize that chapter. It's wonderful to realize that it really works, but you have to be a little patient with that. Two rules. One, there should be nothing else you should do after reading that particular topic. You should just go off to sleep. So that should be the last thing you do before you sleep. And second, do revise it the next day itself, and preferably in the morning, right? So I had this exam of CA. So after finishing our CA, we also have post qualification courses. So I had this exam of information systems auditor, and I gave it in 2015. So my work is already started. I have my own center. I have to manage 10,000 things, and I would get free at night by 10 o'clock. And after 7 days, I had my major exam. And this DISA exam is so tough that many chartered accountants, they appear for 3, 4 times, and then they also quit at certain point of time. And it was my first attempt, and I was really clear that I can give this attempt. Next attempt, it's going to be a problem because we don't have exam regularly in our city, so I would have to travel to give the exam. So I wanted to clear that paper. What I did was, I used this mnemonic for that paper. There were 7 modules we had to remember. I had 7 days to appear for that exam. So every night, 10 o'clock, when I would just go in, reach home, the last thing I would do before going to bed was, I would read that module, right? First module, first day. Second day, I would just get up before leaving for office. I would just read through that module again, and third day, fourth day, the same thing continued. I cracked that exam in one go, and all thanks to this mnemonic. Not because I am an indigenous, or I could crack it because I have a super brain. We all have brain of same size. I was a very average student till my 10th standard. I used to score only 60%. And if a student like me can get second rank all India level, I believe everybody of you can get a rank. The only thing is that you have to develop some tricks to remember and retain things. So I did not give long hours for that DISA module. I just gave half an hour at the night before hitting the bed, and 1 hour in the morning, next day morning, and crack the paper. So maybe try this mnemonic for theory papers. It's going to help you out a lot. Okay, so I think we should be ending the session now. Little bit brief about ACCA, those who were keen to know more about ACCA. ACCA is a wonderful degree, additional degree you have, or additional option you have as a commerce student. And there are lots of details available for it. I'll request ma'am to organize a separate session. But yeah, one advantage is that it's flexible enough. You can give paper one by one, and at the end of every level, you get a degree, right? So maybe we can have one session only concentrating on ACCA. But yeah, I hope these tricks and tips are useful for you. And it was really nice taking this session. You've been wonderful audience, participative audience, and I'm really happy that I took this session. Thank you, everybody. In case you need to get in touch with me for any queries, if you feel depressed, if you feel tense during the exam, feel free to call me at these numbers given. Take care, everyone. Take care. Thank you, Jaya. Thank you, Sudarshan. Okay, thank you everyone. Vikas, Smriti, Saffron, thank you. I'm glad that you enjoyed the session. Thank you so much. I hope to see you someday whenever I visit that place down south. So we'll surely meet someday. Thank you, everyone. Take care. Have a blessed weekend. All the best for your exams. Thank you, Shrindi. Thank you, Jaya. All the best for your exams. Take care. Stay positive, and once you're positive, you'll just crack all the exams. Don't worry about anything. Thank you, Durga. Thank you, Chandni. Thank you, Devanand. Amazing. Have a great professional journey. And I'm sure this is something you're doing good for yourself. Arjun, thank you. Balkumar, thank you. Surya, Hema, thank you so much. Bye. Take care. Yes, Nitya, sure, for sure. I'm up for the sessions. We'll try to organize more sessions like this. Thank you, everyone. Take care. Have a blessed day and always stay positive. You're doing something good for yourself. So, yes, by choosing a professional degree, you haven't done any mistake. You're doing something wonderful for yourself. So, just keep yourself calm every time. Keep reminding that even the meritorious students think 10,000 times that they want to quit, but they do not quit. And those who do not quit, they really succeed in future. So, just keep trying. Bye. Take care, everyone. Take care.